In this video, I will be talking about my things in, things out for February 2025. Let's do it! Today is Friday, March 21st, 2025. I have the day off today. I am at home. Uh, there was a faculty professional development thing today, and contractually, only certain people were required to attend, and I was not one of those people. I have a 3-day weekend, and it's most welcome because I have really been struggling with daylight saving this year. I usually take about a week to adjust, and even when I think I'm adjusted, I'm actually not. I'm just kind of faking it until I make it, until we, fall back in the fall, because I just never feel quite normal until then. But this year has been rough. We're a few weeks in, and I still don't feel even remotely adjusted. I have napped after work every single night since the time change, and that's just crazy because I have not napped after work in like 18 months, a year and a half. I'm struggling. And apparently, I'm not the only one. I've had conversations with colleagues who have said something similar. So there's something different. I don't know if it's just me and my age and my body, or if it's the greater whole and just things are chaos town at the moment. And so I just don't know if it's a one or a combination. I'm sure it's a combination. These things usually are. Well, I'm sorry, short. I'm tired. So 3-day weekend is, I'm not going to say no. I'm wearing the updated version of the red robe that I wore in my first video. Um, this one. This one here was a gift from my stepmom, and it was pajama day at school the day I filmed my first video, and I wore this robe for pajama day. So, and it's featured, I think, a couple other times. But the thing with this one is my stepmom, it's like an heirloom bathrobe. My stepmom gave it to me when my son was a toddler, and he is nearly 20 now. And it was old when she gave it to me. So, it's been through it, but it's been loved. It's got a hole here in the neck. It's got another one here in the shoulder, and it's just kind of it's been through it. So as a kind of a gag, my stepmom for this past Christmas got me an updated version of the bathroom, but she knows me so well, and she looked until she found one that. And so if I just want to be a hermit and shut myself off, block out existence. But I'm not gonna block you out, so I'll take it off. But I'm telling you, a hood on a bathrobe. I don't have a onesie. Like my son has a onesie. He loves his onesie. I don't have a onesie. I'm not averse to getting one, but I just don't have one. But this is like the closest thing I have to a onesie, and I just want to be cozy, and I've got my. How long am I into this? Almost 6 minutes into this video, and I'm still talking about my bathrobe. Okay, well, sorry, because now I'm going to talk about my drink. It's just the matcha with soy milk and some coconut sugar over ice. I'm all about the ice drinks right now, even though it's still freezing arse cold. February was the month of snow and sun. There was some rain for us here, but it was mostly snow and sun. We had that first clip that I put in was me on a snow day, and I was having fun outside. It was cold, and it was kind of that way. We had a lot of frost, a lot of hard freeze, a lot of days of warming up vehicles for a longer period of time because the ice just wouldn't melt. But yeah, March has been rainy and windy, and not a lot of like overly nice weather. We're supposed to have a day next week where it's like low 70s, which is bonkers because because then it's supposed to drop down to like the low 50s again and like stay there. So we're just gonna have one random nice day. The kids will like it. So I guess that's something. This video is being posted later than I anticipated. It's gonna be April pretty soon, and I'm just now doing this for February, but March, we're in the time of the school year where things start really heating up. There's a lot going on. There's a ton to keep track of. My club kids had a big event at the end of February, and we spent weeks preparing for that, and it's over and done, and it was a good event. But just, and then stuff after just kept, it's just like snowballing and snowballing. And we did the time change, and then I just got tired every day. And so I had thought maybe to just combine February and March, but then I started thinking about what I've done in March, and I'm like, nah, February needs to be its own, and March definitely needs to be its own because March has been a bit of a thing as far as purchases are concerned. But you'll hear more about that in April or March. So things in, things out. This year in 2025, I'm keeping track of physical items that come into my life and also go out of my life, as well as select consumables. Same thing, in and out. And those consumables right now are like personal care items, so hair care, skincare, perfume, lotions, things like that, as well as stationary items and tea. Because I mentioned in my first video, I have enough tea to quench the thirst of a small army, and it needs to start getting moved out without me bringing a whole lot in. So that's kind of the premise for this. Before I talk about February, I want to backtrack to March really quickly, just because I forgot a consumable that came in. So I did end up getting a bottle of Aveda Witch Hazel hairspray. I got it on a promotion, and I do like hairspray every once in a while. Seasonally, it does a lot. My hair really responds well to it, particularly this time of year when it's really wet and humid and everything just goes wherever it wants. Hairspray does help. And so I did get a bottle of that, and that was like a Newton. It wasn't a replacement or anything. So I ended up being net zero for consumables in January when I factored that in. I had three items come in and three items go out. So I ended at zero for consumable January, which is still good because that was kind of my intention, zero or below for all these things. So there's that for January. I forgot to add the hairspray in. Okay, now for February. I am going to start with consumables. I'm looking this way because I'm consulting notes. So my eyes will dart. So for consumables, I will start with consumables that went out. And in February, I had four total. I had two that I emptied and two that essentially expired or had just gone off and they did not need to exist in my house anymore. So the two that I emptied a bottle of body wash, pretty big bottle of this Kirk's, 32 fluid ounces. Really simple formula, really, really clean. My son and I both really liked it, and I actually was going to replace it with the same thing, but when I went to my stockist, they didn't have it. They only had the small bottles, and the small bottles are really expensive. So I was like, okay, well, I'll figure out another solution for that. So a bottle of body wash went, as well as the other empty is a small bottle of pure body lotion. This is a hotel lotion, and I've stayed at a couple of properties that have featured this. It has a really nice, subtle lemon scent, and I actually really like it. I have another bottle actually that I'm working through right now. So these were the two items that I emptied. So one lotion, one body wash. The expiration items include this bottle of mouthwash. And for the life of me, I don't remember where this came from. I don't think I bought it. I think I inherited it from somebody and it just got tucked in the back of the cupboard. And it just didn't come back out. But it is an alcohol-free formula. I'm not really a mouthwash user. If I feel like my mouth needs a little extra help, I do have an essential oil blend that can be diluted with water, and I will kind of swish with that. And it really helps, like if I have gum inflammation, it really, really helps with that. But other than that, I don't really use mouthwash. And this, something happened here, and I opened the lid, and the smell, yeah, it was not good, and I promptly dumped it down the drain. So this is an expiration, and it's now an empty, so that went away. And then this bottle of bioidentical progesterone, this was acquired back in the day when a practitioner of mine and I were attempting to figure out some things that were going on, and she suggested maybe trying some bioidentical progesterone, and it did the opposite of what we had hoped, and it exacerbated a lot of problems. And then I once again forgot about it, and it has expired. January 2022. Bye-bye. So once again, one bottle of body wash, one bottle of mouthwash, one bottle of lotion, one bottle of bioidentical progesterone cream. So four consumables out in total. Consumables in one. This guy here. The 3-in-1. It's a replacement for the body wash. I actually did try this as a shampoo and I really like it as a shampoo, and that kind of surprised me. But yeah, this one is also 32 ounces, so size wise, same size and really similar in price. So this is basically a one for one replacement. So this is the citrus mint, everyone. My son really, really likes this one, so I'm probably going to get this again. So this is the only consumable that came in, just one personal care item. So total out four, two skincare, one supplement. I'm counting the progesterone as a supplement, and one oral hygiene, which is the mouthwash. And total in one. So that is a net negative three. So that means I am down three items from where I started at the beginning of February, which is good. No tea items or stationary items. Again, March will be a different story. That's consumables. Now for the physical items. This is where things get weird because February was a month of wrong items getting sent in orders, and then me getting replacements, and then other things coming like in a bundle, and certain aspects of that bundle moving out. I'll explain. So I'll start with the physical items in. Physical item number one is one boar bristle hairbrush. I had wanted to try a boar bristle hairbrush for a very long time, and I did not realize the variance in cost that these things can have. I saw some that were upwards of a couple $100s, and I'm like, I'm not starting there. So I got a black egg. They're really, really, really affordable, and I just wanted to see how my hair did with it, and I love it. I will never ever use another kind of hairbrush. I don't think ever again. I have this thing with my hair where I have really oily roots and very dry ends, and the boar bristle has really helped distribute that moisture. I don't know why I didn't bring it out. Okay. So this is what it, pardon my hair, and it does need a little bit of a wash. So this is what it looks like here, pardon my hair, and it is a black egg here. But yeah, this little thing is one of the best purchases I've made in a long time, and I've wanted one for. I think I first put it on my like future purchases list probably over a year ago, and I just decided I'm gonna give it a try, and I'm glad I did. I love it. So that's item number one. Item number two that came actually with this is this little comb guy that looks like a giant ear. I had a lot of fun with this when I first got it, just doing ridiculous things, but it also has that egg logo. I actually really like this for parting. if I need to part for any particular reason. For some reason, it's a really good parting comb. And I didn't realize at first that this came with this, but I like it and I'm hanging on to it. So the comb came with the brush. Three other things that came with these were three plastic coiled hair ties, which my hair promptly rejected. And they have been allocated elsewhere, and I will get that in when we get to the outs. So 5 items in one box. So that was that part. This is where things get dicey. But a few months ago, I had tried a menstrual disc, not a cup, but a disc, and I loved it. It's one of those things like, where have you been? I'm 43 years old. Where have you been all my life? So they come in different sizes. I started with a small, but I wanted to try the other sizes. I got from the brand Pixie. It's Pixie Cup, but they also do discs. So I wanted to try the medium, and I found a bundle that listed both the medium and the large in one bundle. So I'm like, perfect, I will try that. When I got them, they sent me the small and the large. And the one I really wanted was the medium, and I didn't get it in that bundle. So I contacted Amazon and I was like, order this one, this is how it's labeled, this is what I got. And they said, okay, well, you can just keep that one. But apparently they didn't have that other bundle actually available. So what they did was they just refunded my HSA, because those are HSA eligible items, and I subsequently used that to get the medium just by itself. So I wanted the medium disc. I ended up with another small, a medium, and a large. But I actually only paid for the medium. So it was a thing. But I kept all of that. So so what was originally conceived to be one disc and a pouch ended up being three discs and two pouches. So that was there's that whole thing. And then my last item was I'm counting it as a freebie. I inherited them from my kid. It's a pair of husky gloves. They don't fit him anymore. They were from when he was younger, and he's got really long, spindly, like piano player fingers. His hands are amazing. He didn't get those from me. But they just his fingers are so long they just don't fit. But they fit me perfectly, and they're great for gardening. So they smelled like diesel and automotive fluids, and so I just washed them up and soaked them, and they're going to be good for digging in the dirt. And if I help my dad carry wood or something like that, they'll be great for that. So I inherited a pair of husky gloves from my kid. So to recap, 7 of the 11 items were bought new, and those were the boar bristle brush, the comb, the hair ties. Those all came together. The medium pixie disc and the pouch. So those were all newly purchased. And the freebies were the small disc, the large disc, the pouch that those came in, and the pair of gloves. So 7 were what I considered bought new, and 4 were free. And that was a total of 11 items. On the flip side of that, even though 11 sounds like a lot, physical items out was also 11. So I ended up at net zero for physical, which is good. Items out. Most of them were donated. Let me consult my list. First up, the previously mentioned plastic spiral hair ties. Those immediately left my house because I had no use for them here. And my hair was like, nah, no, no. So, but what I realized was that they are the same, roughly the same material and shape as those wristlets that you can use for ID holders. And I took them to my work and promptly put them in my department stash, because I have club kids that have itty bitty teeny tiny wrists, and they prefer wristlets for their club ID and their badge holder that we make at the beginning of the year. And so I just attached a little snap clip. I just attached a little snap closer that has the clip, and I essentially made 3 new badge holders for my kids' IDs to use in the future. So those left my house, but they got upcycled. Next on the list that left, these were mostly clothing items, I think. One cropped lightweight jacket. I it just wasn't for me anymore. Not my style. Served me well in my younger years, but I decided it was time for that to go. One long sleeve lightweight sweater, again, just didn't fit me well anymore. One long sleeve pink layering top. I like pink to an extent, but not that shade. It was like a more of a kind of a bright baby pink. I like more of the like peachy corally kind of pinks. So I let that go. I also let go a brand new Gap tote bag, new with the tags. No idea where it came from. Not a clue. But I don't shop at the Gap ever. And I don't know if it's just something somebody must have given me something that had that in it and it just ended up in the house. I don't know. So that Gap tote bag went, as well as a pack of two face mask applicators. They're like those triangular shaped silicone things. I'll try and put a picture here in case you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm I was never going to use them. I think they were freebies with an order. They ended up in my cabinet, never used them. So those were the items that were donated. Three spiral hair ties, one lightweight jacket, one lightweight sweater, one long sleeve pink layering top, one Gap tote bag, and two face mask applicators. Those were all donated. I did toss two items and one of them made me kind of sad. But I did a little research and there is hope should I ever want to acquire something like that again. But the first item I tossed was a hairbrush. It was an old wooden paddle hairbrush that I had, which this one replaced, but it was just the bristles were horrible. The bristles were in bad condition. They were coming out, and I had that brush for probably 3, 4 years, maybe longer. And it was just time for it to go. So I tossed the hairbrush. I also tossed my beloved Revereware stainless steel tea kettle. I'll put a photo of what it looked like here. That was the very first tea kettle I ever had. It went with me all over the place. I love that tea kettle, but it just got grimy and gross, and it just needed to go. And I was really sad, and I'm very sad because they don't make Revereware anymore. But I did a little research, and I did find a few on eBay and Mercari and sites like that. So you can't for like not very for like not a huge amount of money. So they are still available should I ever want to get another one, and I very well might, just because nostalgia. My kid got me an electric kettle a couple of years ago for home because I had one at home, then I took it to school and I kind of missed it here, and my kid ended up getting me one as a gift, and so I use that now. But that Revereware kettle, it's just big part of my formative years, so I very well might get another one. So I tossed the hairbrush and the kettle. So 9 items donated, 2 items tossed for a total of 11 items. Really through just the bundle that was this thing, as well as the menstrual disc debacle. It just that kind of threw me as far as the amount of stuff that was coming in because it was more than I anticipated. But it all kind of worked itself out in the end. I don't think I'll be able to say the same for March because I did a little bit of impulse shopping this month in an area that I didn't ever anticipate really buying, but it just kind of um, sucked me in, and now it's a thing. And I will discuss that more in that video that I will make for March. And I anticipate there will also be some tea things that come into play for March because I am on the verge of moving some things out because I've been drinking them. So stationery and tea have been quiet thus far. March will be a different story. But yeah, in March, I do intend on in this series. I think it's a good place for it. I will bring in a new topic that I never thought I would be discussing on my channel. It it kind of caught me off guard, but I was still debating. I'm pretty solidified in my that I'm going to do it now, but before I was like, do I even talk about that in not even in just the series, but at all? And I decided, yeah, I'm gonna because my channel is kind of a living, breathing reflection of my life in a way, and this is really no different. This topic has been a big part of my everyday life for the past about 6 weeks, and I think it's important because it's relevant for a lot of people. And I think the more positive conversation we have about this particular topic, for in my opinion, the better. So I am going to discuss it, hopefully in a way that is constructive. But yeah, I'm still mapping out how that's going to look. But I think this series of videos is a good place to bring that in, just because it sort of ties in a way, as far as the intention, for doing this in the first place. So yeah, I'll be talking about the new topic in March's video. So March's video will be a little bit different. So I think that's it. No, it's not. My slow spend update. In my first video, I talked about this process of slow spending that I am doing, where I am saving for items before I spend the money. March is going to be a not so accurate reflection of that. It started with me saving for that brass clip, that Travelers Company brass clip that I wanted, and then it sort of evolved into saving for other things. I mentioned I was saving for a passport. Update on that: my passport bucket is fully funded. I have enough to get my passport now, so all I have to, and that's another part of spring break I'm going to do, is get that process going. So my passport bucket is fully funded. I have saved the amount I need for that, so that is ready to go. Another item I am currently saving for is a pair of Earthing Harmony flats. I'll put a picture here. Shoes this year. I'm gonna have to buy shoes. It's just one of those things that I'm just going to have to do it. The pair of flats that I have that I love have essentially like disintegrated. And there was also a blue icing incident at the end of the year dance last year, and they didn't really survive that incident. As much as I tried to get that blue out. And they weren't overly expensive. I bought them for my kids' eighth grade graduation with the intention of wearing them maybe just a few times, and they became an everyday shoe, which kind of surprised me. So I got my money's worth there. So they just need replaced. And so I want a pair of these Earthing Harmony flats. They are foot shaped and wide toe box, and they're barefoot. And I just love the way they look. And I want a pair, and they are not cheap. They are roughly $170 with tax and all that good stuff. So I am currently saving for those. I do have a little bit already put aside. I'm working toward one other item as well, and that is a certification for my work. I have to get I have to obtain a certificate related to my job, and it is an out-of-pocket cost for me. My district does not cover it, so I need to pay for that. I've already met the requirements for that cert. All I have to do is make sure my clock hour ducks are in a row with the state, and then apply and pay for it. And so I am, and that cost is $75. So I don't have to have it immediately. It's not an immediate need, so I can put a little bit away for that for the next few months. And so I am working toward that as well. The passport bucket is funded. I can apply for that, and I'm currently working toward the flats, the shoes, and that certification. So that's what I'm doing now for slow spending. In April, I tend to get back on track more with that, just because March has been a month of some impulse shopping. And like I said, I knew in my first video, I said I knew it would probably happen, and that I wouldn't, beat myself up if I did. My checking buffer is just eating a lot of purchases this month, which is fine. Things come up, we have lives, and things emerge, and you know that's why so my whole intention with this is just trying to create some balance between, I have all these things that I would like to work towards, But I would also, so I'm going to work for those gradually, but also allow some room for some spontaneity, which definitely happened this whole time. I'm gonna finish my matcha and work on an outline for another video, kind of how I want to set it up. So yeah, that was February's things in, things out and slow spend update.